Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching yet another video. Um I'd like to be pardoned first for the noise in the background if it's going to be audible on the other side. Someone is cleaning outside and it's making noise. And another thing I would like to be pardoned for is the head, guys. It seems like whenever I have to speak on topics that are hard for me, I always find myself at the last minute having to do what I have to do. And so I've been trying to make excuses for not doing this video, but the Spirit has spoken. It has to be done. And so you'll have to excuse my head. I'm not a thug, guys. I just love it because you can just throw it on whenever you don't feel like doing your hair, or you're in a rush, or something came up last minute. So what I have to talk about is not much of a topic, but at this point it's a testimony. I had an issue for a long time that I was ashamed to tell people about, but also I think people don't really speak on these things, or it doesn't really bother anyone. It does not bother people that much. So I want to speak on the fact that I'm almost 30. I don't want to say I'm almost 30, and I have never had a formal job. I don't want to say my age exactly. What age am I? Maybe 28, maybe 29. You decide. So I'm almost 20. I'm almost 30, guys, and I've never had a job. So this has been something that is shameful for me. Like, I'm ashamed of it. I am actually ashamed of it. The fact that I'm speaking about it now doesn't mean I'm still not ashamed. I am ashamed of it. And it has really made me to exclude myself from some people that I felt like were not understanding of my position, and they kept labeling me, or maybe not labeling me, but thinking that I'm not serious about my life. Guys, if I was not serious about my life, I wouldn't have gone to university for all those years and got myself a degree. I am serious about my life. I'm serious about a career. I want to see myself do something with my life. Anyway, I spoke to the Lord about this issue. At first, I didn't know it was a spiritual thing. And I think this is 2024. I think in 2023. Yeah, I think it was last year, because it couldn't have been 2022. I think it was last year, and I spoke to the Lord about this issue. And at first, like, I would try to make things happen in my own power, like go and try to get a job and ask people who have connections to try and connect me with someone who hires, those type of things. And the person at first would be interested in helping me, but something would just come along and then things just go south. And so I didn't understand. It kept happening and happening and happening. In fact, I even wrote a psalm on this. Maybe if the Lord leads me to share it, I will post it at the end of my video. But I wrote a psalm and I was telling the Lord, why is He frustrating my plans? I felt like the Lord was literally in my way. Like if I tried to build something, I felt like the Lord was smashing it down. And I thought the only influence in my life was the Lord. And it turned out there were other forces at play. And the Lord revealed this to me. In the beginning, I did not have any spiritual maturity to understand what the Lord was trying to reveal to me. And I kept getting frustrated at the Lord, and I just kept on asking the same question over and over, not realizing that every time I asked the Lord, I would have these dreams that would reveal what was actually happening in my life. And normally, on a normal day, on a regular day, I don't remember my dreams at all. But whenever I went to cry to the Lord, I would remember those dreams, you know. And I didn't understand. I didn't even know. I was in ignorance. I didn't know. And I don't remember at what stage I started. No, I came across a channel by Kevin L.A. Ewing. His name is really Kevin L.A. Ewing. And he was talking about the things that I realized, man, everything this man is saying is happening in my life. And what does it say about my life? And he spoke on stagnation delay, which is what was happening with me. Like every dream that he would give an example of, say, spiritual husband, say, being in a classroom writing a test in your former school, being trapped in a former neighborhood or your childhood neighborhood, you know, those kind of things. And I checked all the boxes when it came to the things that Mr. Kevin was talking about. And I didn't know what to do with the information. First of all, granted, I took his advice because he later at the end of his videos tells us how to get through the situation. But for me, that type of energy from him, as someone who is self-critical, it was hard for me to really get into what he was telling me, you know, advising us to do. Because yeah, I don't want to get into all that. But I later got frustrated when I didn't see any breakthrough. I was like, Lord, do you not want to see me set free from this? And the Lord was silent. The Lord was silent for a long time. So I continued and lived my life as if none of those things ever happened for a couple of months. And I acted like I didn't know anything, you know. didn't take inventory of my dreams, did not try to fast for those dreams. Just straight up living in ignorance. Cool. When did I start? Let me just fast forward this year. This year, I then asked my pastor to help me to set my face on asking the Lord to break the spirits off of my life. You see, and we tried doing that. We prayed for a couple of days, and the enemy, I think, because in hindsight, that couldn't have been anyone except the enemy, because he knew he knew the traps that he had for me along the way. Let me just say that the enemy responded in a day, and I had gotten a job, but this job was not really a job, you know. So I go there and I do the job, and where the job is, there is someone who I've mentioned in previous videos that was a source of my weakness as far as sexual sin. And so, getting into sexual sin, the further away I am from the Lord and from my spiritual community. So that happens, and in the moment it gets overwhelming to the point where I realize that, man, this was not from God. I knew from the beginning, but I went through with it for fear of, just people saying, or what will people say about me? Thinking that people will say I'm lazy, I'm ungrateful, I'm, picky, and all those things. So I just did it for the sake of just doing it. And while I was in it, I realized that this is not it. The Lord will not give me a job that will completely take me away from Him, take me away from what He had told me to do, which is YouTube, and take me even from my journey, spiritual journey that I'm on, So then I leave the job. I quit the job. Didn't have really to quit. Didn't have to quit. But I leave the job. And I come back. I don't regroup. I'm still mad at the Lord. I thank the Lord. I'm blaming the Lord, actually. I'm like, Lord, you could have stopped me. But you know how we are. The Lord had given me all the confirmation I needed inside of me, because I didn't want to go. I knew that I shouldn't have went through with it, but I did it anyway because of my fear of men. I feared men more than I feared God, but topic for another day. So I continue being mad at the Lord, and I forget completely about the fact that I was praying for this thing to be broken off of my life. And I don't really have much knowledge of how deep or how connected these things are pertaining to me, whether it's just delay or it's delay and stagnation. But in most teachings, when people speak on these things, they say that they're both connected. When you have one, you have the other, you know. So I continue with life as usual. I do not go back and regroup and try to fight again, you know. And then this week, or the past few weeks, I got hold of a book by someone called what's his name? Pamudi, something like that. But his surname is Pamudi, and the person had written a book about stagnation, and I read through the book, and I gathered in the book that I should probably try midnight prayers, because I had read in another book by John Enkert, who wrote the book Prayers That Rout Demons. And he wrote, the book that I read was, what was the book? Prayers That Move Mountains. Yeah. So in the book he speaks about the importance of midnight prayers, noon prayers, and all those things. So the common theme that I got from the previous book and this book was now midnight prayers. And I think to myself, midnight has to be the time that I am gonna do this thing. And then I set myself to pray midnight every day. And I knew this would work, because it is a sacrifice for me, because of how daunting it is for me to wake up at midnight. After I got baptized this year around on the 14th of April, prayer then became easier for me. The Lord was waking me up at a certain time during midnight, and I would wake up. Let me say that when he woke me up, when he gave me a nudge to wake up, I would wake up easily. Prayer then became easy for me. And few days ago, I've been praying warfare prayers, mind you, because I had just gotten this righteous indignation that, you know what, I'm going to fight for my freedom from these spirits. And I then took it upon myself that warfare prayers it is. Few days ago, I listened to Stephanie Eker's interviews and sermons, and the message I got from it for myself was that I needed the Lord's revelation. It's not only about prayer, but I need the revelation from the Lord. Well, prayer can help after a certain time, but a revelation from the Lord would actually break any bloodline curses, any bloodline strongholds, because these are known as strongholds because of they are a pattern that repeats itself in a family, and I have indeed seen the pattern in my family. So it registers, or it falls under a stronghold. And so I did that. I then 3 days ago, set myself towards asking the Lord, Lord, how can I break free from these things? How can I break free from these things versus versus just praying about it, So yeah, I set myself on that. And this was the 14th going on to the 15th. I don't know if it's a Tuesday. The 14th going on to the 15th. I then just, because I had eaten, I had eaten ox liver, and I'm not supposed to. I know that I'm not supposed to, because it causes my warfare to go on another level. Like, I get all the spiritual paralysis. What do they call it? Sleep paralysis. Yeah. So I get attacked in my dreams whenever I eat any kind of meat. And so after I got tempted to eat it, I knew that I couldn't sleep. 2 days before, I had just done that, and my sleep was just crazy. People were shooting in my dreams all over the place. So I was like, today I'm not sleeping. I was not setting myself up to just be with the Lord, but I was running away from the encounters I would have in my dreams should I go to sleep after eating that ox liver. And so I say, I'm not gonna sleep. And at the time that I'm supposed to sleep, I am tired. I'm sleepy. The devil is working overtime, because he's like, she cannot be out here watching at this hour. And so I continue. I'm like, come what may come, I'm not sleeping. I then just sit, and I think, well, might as well just listen to music while at it. Sorry for that. I hit my video stand. I think to myself, why not just worship while I'm at it? Because if I worship until midnight, until 12 a.m. midnight, that means I've made it to midnight. And at 10 p.m., that's when everyone went to sleep, and that's when I think I got the alone time, the proper alone time to start worshiping. I then worship and worship until 11 p.m. I'm worshiping. While I'm worshiping, I'm even, setting my mind and my heart towards the Lord, to ask the Lord, how can I break these things off? While I worship. And 11:30, I then start praying my warfare prayers. I've written down prayers because I did not want to have the daunting anxiety of just trying to make up or think about things I'm going to pray about. So I wrote my own prayers, And I also use other books, but then not books that use just prayers in general, but praying scripture. And so I pray scriptures for warfare, and I pray my own prayers, and I sleep. And this is now I'm sleeping around maybe, because I think I prayed for about 40 minutes. So this is like quarter past 11, quarter past 10, quarter past 12 midnight. So I sleep. Guys, I slept like a baby. When I tell you I slept like a baby, I slept like a baby. And I then wake up and on the 15th at quarter to or 10 to 6 a.m. in the morning. And because I woke up at that time and I slept late, I thought to myself, this must be the Lord waking me up at this time. And I'm so refreshed. I have so much energy. But because I love sleep, I want to sleep. And then I sit in bed. I try to speak to the Lord through my mind. I try to engage a conversation with Him and ask Him the things that are on my heart and things concerning that situation. And just to say that, Lord, here I am, because I can see that you are calling me. Just like when Samuel went to Eli and said, are you calling me? But Eli recognized that it was the Lord calling Samuel. And so he said, the next time you hear someone calling your name, just say, Lord, here I am. And so I said the same thing. I said, Lord, here I am. Speak to me. And as I was saying that, I fell asleep. In my sleep, in my dreams. Ooh, my God. In my sleep, while I was dreaming, breakthrough. I have this dream that is in the present. I'm no longer in my previous schools, previous childhood areas, just wandering around. I am now in the now. The dreams are speaking of the now, of the today. Guys, you guys don't understand. Like, I grew to even hate dreaming about the past, because it was just a reminder of the situation. And so I'm having a dream revealing that breakthrough has come upon your house. Rejoice, my child. So I am happy, but I think I woke up for a bit, but I went back to sleep again. I have another one back to back, and some of them I might not remember, but there were two of them that were very, 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 very memorable because of their nature. Just, they spoke volumes, And I think to myself, when you've been waiting for a breakthrough for a long time, just like the disciples or the congregation that was praying for Peter in the book of Acts when he was arrested, when someone told them that Peter is at the gate, they were like, you must be out of your mind. Something in me was just like, maybe this is not what you really think. And then I set myself again just to seek the Lord now this time. And I slept early. This is yesterday, the 16th, going on to the 17th. And I set myself to just seek the face of the Lord, pray, and go to sleep. Listen, guys, I did not have any of those crazy dreams again. In fact, the dream that I remember having just before I woke up was another dream in the now. I was not dreaming about my past and all those things, my past goals, and crazy stuff used to happen in my dreams. But that's not the topic of conversation. The topic of conversation is the Lord has done it. I'm here to just say that the Lord has done it. And to some, it might look crazy because I do not have a job yet. But I know it's only a matter of time. It's settled in heaven. It's settled in heaven, and that's all I needed for it to be settled in the spirit. When and how it shows up in the physical is just a matter of time. And so I'm going to rejoice at the fact that I now have a dream life. I can sit down and write down my dreams. I can, expect the Lord to speak to me through my dreams. Anyway, guys, I do not know if I have laid it out as well as I wanted to lay it down, but the books I'm going to recommend on this topic that I'm speaking on is a book by Solomon, Reverend Solomon. Okay, I'll just write the books in the description below because I'm now going to mess up people's names, and that's not good. So, guys, please like, share, subscribe, and comment if the topic is something that you've experienced or seen someone experience, and just holler at me if you have anything to say. For now, thank you for watching, guys. Goodbye.